2212. All right. Kia ora, everybody. Welcome back to the Creative Curiosity Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Haunui. Special guest here today. Super privileged and grateful to have you here, brother. You're somebody I've looked up to since I was about 13, moving to Rotorua, getting into the graffiti scene. And it's a matter of time if you're into graffiti before you see people like yourself turn up. How are you, brother?
Yeah, good. Real good.
What you been up to lately?
Been up to quite a lot actually. Guess the main thing for us, Janine and I, is just really trying to get through this current massive wave of muralism.
Yeah.
And because there's not many of us, those who are doing it are flat out, so painting murals.
That mural life. So when I have people on and when I like to get to know people, especially people that are in the creative space, bro, I like to delve into like the early days, like those early influences, because that's sort of like a roadmap of how you got to where you are now, eh? So if you can share a little bit about the upbringing and how you fell in love with creativity, bro.
Yeah, cool. I wonder how long this podcast is.
As long as you have, bro.
Well, I got into, I guess, creativity just because it was quite strange, like I think some of us don't really know why, what I mean? Like we don't really have defining moments when we're kids and then we're just slowly growing up and more interested in drawing than we are kicking a ball or playing basketball or whatever, you know what I mean? So I was really into drawing when I was a kid, but I was just doing the typical neighborhood graffiti, just more kind of kid stuff. So I was writing, SFH around, doing little bulldogs, just all of us were doing it, number 13, It's like, why am I doing this? But I'm doing it and it's creative, it's cool.
Exactly.
And then I was drawing, Chicago Bulls logos, and then it just kind of started graduating into other things. And then Form 2, at the age of 11, turning 12, I started writing my name, my actual, not real name, but my alias.
What was it back then? Has it always been Phat1?
No. So my original graffiti name was Metric. I don't even know why. Wasn't that smart when I was a kid. But when you're influenced by the culture around you, everyone's cool because they're dressed a certain way, looks a certain way, but they're also writing their name. They become cool. I want to be cool. So I started copying them, writing my name, writing on the bus stop, buses, apartments, school tables, etc. And I was hooked, man, because I really wanted to be known. I really wanted people to know me. I wanted affection. I wanted love. I wanted respect. And we still see that today and, throughout the world, basically.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a big thing. And it's a big thing that we only realize as we get older and we look back, as you realize why you did the things you did when you were younger, like that, like what you just said there, realizing was to be known. And like for myself, bro, I remember at one point in my life, I don't know what it was. It may be just a young, whether it be young Māori or young Pacific Islander thing, but you just really want to make the biggest stamp on the world that you can, eh?
Yeah. And for me, it was definitely, there was a motivating factor, which was, I want to be somebody. I want to be popular, I want to be famous, I want to be something. But also, I think when I started growing up and getting older, I realized I was just kind of trying to find myself. You know what I mean? I was in the urban landscape, and I didn't even know who I was as a created human. You know what I mean? I was created as something, and I didn't even know who I was. And so later on in life, I realized, oh man, this is who I am. I'm actually a Māori. You know, I'm Pākehā as well. But I didn't even know that. I thought I was some hip hop guy. I thought I was some rap dude, some gangster, some crip, some this. I was, you know, something the next week, you know. And I just tried to find out who I was. And I was searching, longing, trying to be this guy, that guy. And eventually I realized, man, it's not even who I am. You know what I mean? If I boil it all back down to me being a created being, which I am, I'm actually a Māori, you know, all the way from Aotearoa. And so that was a whole nother journey, you know, which is an amazing journey that I'm still on. But I really enjoyed, you know, those younger years of just exploring with all of these people who are trying to find family.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's basically how our crew also came together. You know, TMD is a bunch of people, majority of them came from broken families, you know what I mean? So, you know, if it's no father, it's something else happened. If something else happened, then something else happened. And then we all eventually came together. Boom. There's family.
Yeah. Like-minded people, eh?
Mm.
I remember seeing this, just recently, the story, since we were talking about mongrel mob and stuff. I saw the story of this dude in the mob. I can't remember which chapter, but it gave me a new sort of perspective on why a lot of young men join gangs and stuff. And his thing was pretty much exactly what you were saying. He was just a dude who was in a broken home, didn't get love at home, had older members of the mob who would say, oh, you can come here and, like, you know, give love in however way they give love. And, you know, looking at different types of groups, whether that be gangs or graffiti crews or b-boy crews, all those sorts of things. I suppose in the nutshell, they're all pretty similar to each other, eh?
Yeah, totally. Everyone just eventually wants to find that sense of belonging. You know what I mean? Like, who am I? You know, who am I? What am I? Yeah. You know, and then eventually, as soon as they kind of find this thing, they're on the roids. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, they're the greatest, whatever, gangster, breakdancer, you know, because as soon as they find it, they latch on, you know, and they put so much time, energy, tenacity, passion, and it's just game over. They're 100% for it, you know, because they found it. You know?
Yeah, 100%. I remember seeing a post from you. I think it was last year, maybe the year before, and it was talking about what you said, like growing up, trying to figure out who you were, and then seeing hip hop and going like, oh yeah, maybe I'm. And I remember you saying this thing about feeling like you're American in Aotearoa or something like that. And then I remember towards the end of that post, you talked about being proud to be Māori and stuff. Was there a point, bro, in your life where something just switched, or you saw something out in the environment that made you just go, oh yeah, I'm Māori, and it made you like start being proud of that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because growing up, you know that you're Māori, but you don't know that you're Māori. It's weird. It's a weird concept, but I see it in the urban settings today, that there's no real connection. It's just like over here, but it's not in here, you know. It's just like I can see you thinking in your head you're Māori, but you're not really connecting with your heart and your feet into the soil of where you're from. And I think for us, I just was so into what I did that was my identity. And then as I journeyed on in that art career, doing graffiti, my wife had this like premonition, you know, and she was like, man, I really feel you need to paint birds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I'm like, hell no. Paint birds?
I don't want to paint birds.
Yeah. I paint graffiti. You know, I paint graffiti words. You know, it's about me. You know what I mean? You know, it's about me. I paint graffiti about me. You know, and she's like, you need to paint birds. And I'm like, oh, what? Birds? You know, it's just like, oh, why birds? Because they're so different to what I do, you know. And you got to realize by then, we were really at the top of our game, you know. Like we were world champs, sponsored artists, and from the bottom of the planet, which is very rare because most of the guys who are the heavy hitters are from Europe, you know, America, and the guys in New Zealand are like, who are they? But there's so much talent, and so I had my wife go and paint birds. But I trusted her, you know, because she's a very spiritual person. So I was like, okay, let's do this then. And then I just started, you know, really thinking about it. And then maybe even a month or so later, I get this mural job in Elgin in Gisborne. And then the budget was 10 grand 7 years ago to paint anything.
Yeah.
Basically anything. So I was like, oh, well, I'll try these birds. Is that opportunity? You know, and we've done birds before because, you know, as you grow up in the graffiti scene, you know, you do commercial work, you do gyms and, you know, you do all sorts of projects to just kind of get some extra money. So we started painting these birds and realized, well, okay, this is not too bad. And the council liked the project that we did in Elgin. And then all of a sudden, man, everyone was like, oh, bro, that's mean. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, that is mean. And then I said, okay, well, let's just try it. And so as we tried it, I realized I was kind of getting addictive. And, you know, like probably you're self-assured.
Right, exactly.
You know, especially the things I see you get into. You get really addictive to things you get into, and I got addicted to birds, just birds itself. And so I started researching the birds and started, you know, going out, checking out birds and bird sounds, bird feathers, bird everything. And then I just started reading books, going online, and then I just got really intrigued, you know. Then I started trying to connect birds with Māori culture just so I can be kind of cooler than the rest of the guys. And I wasn't really into Māori things. So I was just let's just try and be next level. And then I realized, okay, whoa, that's deep, man, that's deep. And then it kind of dawned on me and I was like, right, I'm starting to learn so much about these created beings, you know, these created animals, birds, oh my gosh. And then it dawned on me, I knew so much about these birds, but I didn't know much about me.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh no, that is the reason why I'm painting birds. It took that long to get me here. No. And so, yeah, that got me on the journey of, you know, really learning my Māori whakapapa and where I'm from and how I was created as Māori, and yeah, it's been 7 years. Yeah.
Man, what a journey you've been on, and just the power of faith in your wife, eh? And you know, having a partner who knows you a lot of the times more than you know yourself, eh?
Yeah. Now we have a unique relationship, more unique than most marriages because we're also one artist.
Yeah.
One, not two artists.
Yeah.
So when we do our murals, we are one that paint. You know, I'm not the lead artist. Yeah, so it's a unique combination, and we're always together 24/7. So we do trust each other. We have to, you know. Yeah.
Is that because my partner and myself, having recently sort of just started our own business and being with each other 24/7 too, and like we're only young and early in the journey of that. Is what are some of the unique challenges of that, bro? Like having been your wife at home and husband at home, and then, you know, being one artist together.
Oh, damn. All I can say is there's some highs, you know. It is amazing where you get to as a married couple in business and what you create, what you do. You go to the ultimate highest levels. Like, it's amazing. But sometimes you have to definitely get over the lowest levels, lowest valleys, you know. You definitely have to persevere and grind through those moments. Because as soon as you do, the highs are waiting, man. And I've seen it time and time me and my wife, we just persevere, learn, and adapt, and oh man, it just breaks open for us, and it's waiting for us. So it's worth it. That's what I can definitely say. It's worth it. You're there with your soulmate. Kids are totally looked after. Everything's running well and smooth, and but you got each other's back as well, and you need someone to have your back, and so forth. Yes.
Yeah, I suppose like just you saying that, it comes down to when you're in that partnership, not only at home but in business, you're looking out for each other. You've got each other's best interests at heart. Because you're the person who's with that person all the time.
Yeah, and you're both carrying the load. Yeah. Like one of us can't carry it. It's too heavy, man. So it's smarter. It's smarter ways of working too.
Yeah. And it's been awesome too watching like in the last 7 years since you fellas started doing all your manu all over the place, and now you can't really go to a town without seeing one of your fellas' paintings. And it's mean, bro. And talking about that, like seeing your guys' paintings and seeing yours personally, I was talking with my partner this morning, maybe last night, about I think I was about 17, bro, maybe 16, and that was sort of when I was heavily into graffiti and stuff. And the first painting I seen of yours, it was up one of the side streets just off Queen Street, and you had this, I just said Phat1, it was just like a small plyboard or something, and I remember thinking, is that real? And then I had a look, I was like, it's real. And I remember we had to go, we were here for a class trip, art trip. And especially being a young boy coming from a small place like Waimana, bro, where you're fully country, and you only see all these sorts of things on the internet and getting to see it with your own eyes. And we were here to look at the museums, and none of them had stuff that I actually cared about. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I just want to be out here looking at stuff. And I've seen you too. You were outside loaded, I think.
Yeah, probably.
You're doing a lot of stuff loaded.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You might have been on Smoker or something. And I seen you, I was like too shy to come over and say cheer. I remember looking, and so I'll see you one day. And then here we are. Anyway, bro, going back, I was talking to the bro last week about his earliest artwork he created. Do you remember what yours was?
Depends. With spray can or?
Oh, your very first, could be pencil, crayon, whatever it was. Your very
I got a
earliest
funny
memory.
But I got two actually. Or maybe we'll go.
Let's go.
The first time I found a spray can.
Yep.
Yeah, I must have been like 8. Yeah. But I went into the garage and there was a blue plastic coat, and I was just testing it out in the garage, spraying it around, and then doing what I said before, SFH. And
What colour was the can?
It was blue.
Oh, it was blue.
Yeah. And then I went out and I actually tagged our house.
Same.
Oh, it was SFH on the side.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. But I didn't even know it was wrong. I was just like, whoa, look at this.
Yep.
And then, I just thought, whoa, that's crazy when I think about it now. Oh, man. My kids will get in big trouble if they did anything like that.
Oh, we heard you did it too.
You ain't doing it.
Times have changed. We've moved on. Yeah, bro, we did, because we got like a real old shed at our homestead back in Waimana, and for some reason we were allowed to practice painting with cans on our shed. We painted all sorts, bro. And at the time we were in a band called Twisted Vibes, and we made up the stencil of the logo.
What?
And then there was this section of our wall on the house where there was a big window, and they'd taken it out, and then it sort of just got filled in with this bit of jib or something. And then we painted on that too without even asking. And I remember, it mustn't have been a bad growling because I can't remember it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But I remember just thinking back, like, we're pretty lucky to have parents who didn't waste us for doing stuff like that. I think they could see, they're just being creative and one day it could lead to something. I don't know. This is just me thinking.
Yeah, true.
That's what I think. It's funny. And moving on, bro, I remember hanging out with one of my bros. It was pretty much when I discovered you fellas, like TMD, SUK. And then I'm not too sure if it was you who I seen first or if it was SQ, Elliot. Can you talk a little bit about like when you fellas first met and how that sort of relationship with you guys and the NZ TMD crew?
Oh yeah, like
with,
TMD and Stick Up Kids, or
yeah,
just
right,
the
yeah.
TMD.
And with Ramoni and
I'll talk about TMD because that's a huge story in itself. So like I said, I was just kind of starting out in Auckland doing graffiti. Oh man, this is going to be a long one. Let's see if I can speed this up.
I'm here for it. I'm sure everyone else is here for it too.
Yeah, the hard thing about TMD, it's mainly the first half of it is based around me. You know, it sounds weird. I don't want it to be about me, but I created this crew alongside a bunch of other guys from other crews. Mm-hmm. So all these taggers from West Auckland went on this program with DLT, Otis, Dan Tippett, Merkster, and we were the youth at the time to go and help them do these 3 massive murals, you know.
Yeah.
But these were the worst taggers of West Auckland, not like you know, just little at-risk youth type kids. These were like full-on menaces. You hardly ever see them that bad today. Like it's it's hardcore stuff. Yeah, graffiti in the 90s is way next level, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, doesn't happen today. Doesn't happen at all. So we were all on the same course. Eventually, after the course, we all started painting together. And then eventually, I was like, man, we can't all paint together. There's 6, 7 different groups. We need to have one group. So I rang them all up. And then I said, hey, we need one group. One guy's over here saying, oh, we should call it, you know, MD. And I'm like, no, we should call it TMD. You know, because I like 3 letters.
2 looks weird.
Yeah, so I was like, the max dose. Okay, let's do that. And and so I ran with TMD. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's us, eh, guys.
And was that the original meaning, the max dose?
Yeah. And I was like, that's us, eh, guys. Yeah. So I start writing it, and I'm like, yeah, no one else is writing it. I was like, what? No one else is writing it. So I was like, oh, well. So I started writing it, and then I just started putting guys in the crew. And then eventually one day we met Elliot. But before Elliot, you know, my wife was in the crew. Before we were a couple, I put her in the crew because she was next level. Other guys in the crew. And then eventually we put Elliot in the crew. Yeah, and a lot of the development of guys getting in the crew was just synergy, you know. It's not your talent, not your skill. It's just like how I just need to feel them out, you know. Like, okay, these guys, they got the right, you know, feel, attributes. You know, they're not too ahead of themselves. They're going to go far, you know. And we started putting dudes in left, right, and center. And eventually we had 20 members or something. But the main thing about TMD over time, I told them it's about family. Like, I don't care if we don't paint. You know what I mean? I just said our family unit, TMD, will last longer than us trying to just paint for talent, for each other's talent. Yeah. Like, oh, we need to be doing talent, art stuff together so we can be a crew. You know, it's like, oh, no, it doesn't work like that. It won't last that long if you're just solely reliant on your talent. It's not worth it. You know, the family unit will last longer. And so, I think next year will be 24, 25 years.
Really? Because do anything? You have to do something.
Yeah, you got a giant show. Yes. We got a giant show in the Dowse Art Museum, Lower Hutt.
Yep.
So we got all the German TMDs, Australian TMDs, New Zealand TMDs. Going to be
when
going down to the Dowse, April 2021. We're going to have a giant festival, giant installations. We'll have every amazing TMD guy there from Soffels, Cantu, all of them doing their
Jeez.
stuff. Yeah, and then we're going to bring back all the old photos, videos, archives of, all sorts of fashion. No. I really just tell the story, you know what I mean? Because, you think about graffiti and street art, it's coming quite a mainstream gig, like graffiti is cool now. Even graffiti is cool. Like, I couldn't believe that even graffiti would be cool.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, and we want to tell the history of this one group that have survived this many years and where they are today, because a lot of them, some of them in their 50s now. And so, whoop, we're getting on. It's been an amazing journey with these guys, and I'm proud of them too, because, we were actual rat bags, actuals, and now they are successful in my eyes, you know what I mean? And what they do, because that is what I think success is, and what I see anyway. So yeah,
100%. And I've witnessed a small window of their TMD greatness. Is there, bro, for you? Is there one memory over the last 24 years that stands out, and why does it stand out?
Yeah. It was probably when we qualified to go to Germany to represent New Zealand. And
was that Rifle Gold?
Yeah, Rifle Gold.
Man.
Yeah, it was cool, man, because I don't think I'd been out of the country.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if I have. I'd flown down to Christchurch, or maybe no. Anyways, yeah. So we went to Germany, and the thing with going overseas and being from New Zealand is you're unknown.
Yeah.
You're unknown, man. You are like, who are you?
People wouldn't even know where the hell New Zealand is, eh?
Nah. But that's cool, because that's just how we roll anyway. So we went over there a month earlier, maybe 3 weeks earlier, and then we just painted graffiti for 3 weeks. Constantly, every day almost, man. Twice a day, 3 times a day. We were like boot camp.
I want your fingers to fall off.
Yeah, honest. No, straight up. We were hardcore. And we painted with Cantu every day. Different parts of Germany, driving around with just a van full of cans.
And how many at that time, bro, were in the crew?
Quite a lot still. But the guys who went over, there was only six of us. 5 of us in the group that painted. I don't know if there was any extras. It was Askew, Rise, Deos, me, and Exist. That were in the crew that painted. 2 Māoris, a Samoan, and 2 Pākehās. Yeah. So, it was mean, man. Just painting. And then obviously the competition. So the competition, these fellas don't know that we have some talent, we know what we're doing. But they don't know it because they haven't researched us. They don't know who we are, which is cool. Because we've already had 3 weeks of Cantu schooling us, telling us what's dope and what isn't. By then, we're like super confident. We've just had boot camp, man.
Yeah, hard up.
Yeah, and so, it's broken down into different categories. So you got your drawing, you got your tag, you got your throw up, and you got your wall. But everything's on the fly, so everything's like on the day. This is the concept now, paint.
Yep.
And this is the tag now. And so when it came to the tag, Elliot was the tagger. Oh, he schooled everyone. Askew just went, everyone was like, but they're roaring for you too, because it's so like,
that would have been crazy.
Yeah. And we're like, yeah. And he's got the thing dripping everywhere. We're like, yeah, boy. And I think Gary did the throw up, I think. Yeah, he killed it too. Deos did the drawing, absolutely annihilated them all. Everyone's like, oh, yes, guys. And then we did the wall. And so the theme was the festival, which is Splash Festival. And massive wall. I don't know how long it would have been. Like 14 meters by 2.4. Yeah, and the main act was Fat Joe.
Really?
But it's a full-on hip-hop festival. Yeah.
When he was
It's massive. It's bigger than... it's about the same size as Big Day Out. So Andy's got this graffiti festival, which is one section, and all these other things going on. So came up with a concept really was just to keep it simple as, so we did the words splash festival, and then we'll have Fat Joe flying out, and then we'll have a crowd. So I was like in charge of the words. So I did the words. Elliot freestyled Fat Joe from his head. Askew. Far out, I couldn't believe it. Man. With a microphone. And then Deus did this full-on crowd along the bottom, like a whole crowd going, yeah, out of his head, man. Just like,
I can picture Last Supper as you were just doing that.
Yeah, and I had the easy job of just doing the words. So I was like, oh, yeah. But I did get, people saying, oh, do this, do that. And, we just filled it in. And because it was just simple, classic, effective, we ended up taking out the whole competition. And for us, that was mean, man, because, who are we? We're from New Zealand. And even my bro was like, nah, we didn't win, bro. We didn't win. I was like, nah, bro. It's calculating. We won, bro. Believe it, bro. And then we got on stage. Yeah. And then with our flag, somehow we had a New Zealand flag. I didn't know where they came from. Yeah. So that was a mean moment, man. Just with the brothers that you grow up with. Just like, wow, you're on an international stage. No one really knows.
Yeah.
Except your immediate family that you're painting this, painting at this festival that you end up winning, and you become the best in the world. So you're beating guys from America, Europe, Australia wasn't in it, Asia's. Like there were so many representatives from all over the world. And then it's like, whoa. And the judges were like a legend judge. A legend artist as well from New York, T-Kid, and I'm just like, oh my
just
gosh.
seeing it, bro. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was next level.
Bro, that's nuts. How old were you then? You remember?
I don't remember what it was. Maybe 22. Oh, I don't even know.
That's a baby, eh?
Yeah, 22. Oh, I don't even know. How bad is that? 2008. Take away now. Yeah. Maybe in my 20s anyway.
Yeah. Man, that's nuts, bro. And how was that going from the highest of highs, in your young age, and then how was that transitioning back into normal life when you came home?
Well, there were some perks to it, We got sponsored straight away by Iron Lake.
Yeah, so that'd be the early days.
Yeah, 2008. So I've been sponsored since then. So, 12 years. 12 years. Yeah, 12 years. Yeah, so I've been sponsored by them. And then, you just get recognized a tiny bit more. Cantu and, Stick Up Kids and TMD start kind of doing more projects together. And he's like the king, the absolute king. Yep. He is the top of, he is it, so... And he's down here hanging out with us, and we're like, oh my gosh,
what's going on?
We're with, this demigod. It's like, oh God. So it was awesome, that time period of TMD, Stick Up Kids, and that was huge.
Yeah. And along your career, bro, I know a lot of people, when they look at people who are creative for a living, they only usually get to see that aspect of them. What else, bro? Away from creativity and stuff, or away from graffiti at least, what stuff did you like to do, bro?
So away from, say, doing murals, business stuff, graffiti, just lately, last year and a half, I like running.
Oh, bro. I saw your 50K you just did.
Yeah. No, I really do like running. So that's just the last year and a half. I've been on this kind of journey of, as you start new businesses, you go into these things of not really understanding it. So it's new. Everything's kind of like harder than normal.
Yeah.
You're not the king. You're back at Kohanga again. You're at Kohanga and you're trying to learn everything. And it's not your normal. So for me, doing birds and really going into business, full-time artistry, it was hard, And so that all my focus was on that. So it was tough, you know. Got really overweight, and just business became successful, but my tinana and my mind wasn't successful. You know what I mean?
Which is more important.
Yeah, and then really we got to a point in our business where it was running well, things were smoother, and it felt normal. It felt easy. It didn't feel hard. And then I was like, man, I can afford these things now. I can eat this diet. I can do these things because I have time and I can make time, you know? So I started going after, you know, a keto diet and running for the past year and a half. And yeah, man, I'm like fully addicted.
Who would have thought you could get addicted to running, eh?
Oh, no, it's hard out, like, especially running in the bush. So as soon as you start running trails, it's another level of running, man. Because you're one with nature, but oh man, I just can't even explain it. And you just start vibrating in the bush. Honestly, I was just like the run in Rotorua around the back of Te Puia and the Blue Lake, Green Lakes.
That would have been beautiful.
Yeah, man, I was just like vibrating, bro. I was just like, oh. Yeah. And then you just love it because you're in creation. You know, you're not in Grey South Road on the concrete with the cars and trucks going past.
Beeping.
Yeah, just breathing in all this crap. You know, you're just in nature, and it's just like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really going after running more and more. Really wanting to do 100K next year in Rotorua. Yeah. So
you haven't done? Have you done 100K yet?
Nah, sorry. I'm building up for it. So doing more full marathons, do some more ultras, smaller ultras like 50s.
Yep.
And then eventually, do one in Rotorua next year.
When do they have that? When do they have
February.
that? Feb. Man,
oh, you'll be able to do one. It's easy, bro.
100Ks.
Because the thing with trail running is different to road running. So there's two types of running. So road running is basically you're running at a consistent pace. With trail running, because it's so up and down and it's so uneven, that you are running, but you're almost jogging, and then you're walking because it's like this, and you're going uphill, and you can't run up hills, man, if you're wanting to run long distance.
Yeah,
because you will get wasted, burnt out. So you're doing a lot of hiking, then you're running downhill, and then you're running on the flats, and then you're walking again.
Yeah.
But it allows you to just take in the environment, and then you fully just love it, because you're having a rest. Also, you're eating out on the track. It's a different form of running. So I like that now.
What was it, bro, that drew you to running instead of doing like CrossFit or like going to the gym to lift weights or something?
I think it was my the ability to have time for myself. Yeah, so I normally don't have time for myself throughout the normal day because I'm with my wife or the kids or everyone together until I sleep, basically. Yeah. So when I'm by myself, you know, so I can actually just be in a meditative state where I can just think. You know, sometimes you can't think for yourself when you're with people because you're just cluttered. It's like, oh my gosh,
all this noise.
Even if you're not on your phone, someone else is almost a phone.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking.
Yeah.
Can you be quiet? No. So yeah, when I'm by myself in the elements, oh man, it's quite precious, you know. It's like, oh, this is just quite cool, man. It's quite deep. So if you're an introvert, it's the perfect spot.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm an introvert. In a way. But I'm not really full introvert. Yeah. Because I'm still confident and I'm out there. You know, I'm not like, but I'm not an extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not an extrovert.
I heard this cool thing, Chameleonaire. Remember Chameleonaire?
Wow.
Riding Dirty? Yeah, bro, he's super inspirational dude. I saw this podcast with him, and he said this cool thing that is pretty much what you're talking about, and it was, he's an introvert who knows how to act like an extrovert. Yeah. And I feel the same way too.
Yeah.
Most of my life I've been like I've been sweet with being by myself.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And then if I have to be out there, then you can when you need to, but sometimes you'd rather not.
Yeah, I can definitely see that on you. You know what I mean? Because a guy like you and the gift that you have, if that was put in the hands of an extrovert, it'll be like, whoa, I can see that you've done that tattoo. Yeah.
I cannot not see it.
Yeah. And then it's just like, okay. But, you can tell that you're just so, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I did this. Cool. I hope you enjoy it. But, yeah.
It's been a lesson, bro. Like, growing up, I've said this many times before, but the biggest lesson I learned from my parents was to always remain humble. And
beautiful.
For me, like, super lucky to have the upbringing that I've had, because not only was I gifted as an artist, not blowing smoke up my own whatever, but also I was in the right environment to make me a better artist as well with my dad.
Wow.
And as I gotten older, bro, I've had sort of gotten to a point where I realized that sort of celebrating yourself is all good, and I had thought of the idea of humble as the wrong way, as not celebrating those wins. And was that a thing you had to learn for yourself too?
Oh, big time, man. Big time. Yeah, huge. Because like I said, in graffiti, the concept of graffiti is basically it's all about you.
Yeah.
So I'm painting my name. Everybody look at my name. It's like, what kind of art form is that?
That's pretty funny.
It's
Think about
good.
it.
So it's very narcissistic culture, It's like, Phat1, I'm the man. It's just like, when I thought about it as I grew older, I was like, oh, it's kind of cringy. It is a thing you do as a youngster. As you get older, it's kind of not really the jam to do that. For me personally, to go around, yo, I'm Phat1. I never do that. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't feel it. I don't like it. I don't like it personally. But for me, I think humility, I learned that value system just through painting the birds and dealing with indigenous cultures, and different indigenous cultures, not just Māori culture. Because in Māori culture, if you're a bit too proud, they already can sniff it out, 100%. And they will smoke you too. They will test it out, So it's better just to be humble. It's just best to be humble, and I think with humility too, it's smart living too. You know what I mean? Because one of these ideas that I had, it's better to fall from a stage this low, that's just off the ground, because you're humble, than a stage that's high, that is real high, because it'll hurt. You know what I mean? So I love it. The closer I am to the ground, the better it is for me. And so that's why when we paint birds, it's not about us at all, man. No way. If you see that bird and I'm like, yeah, it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's not those stories are not my stories. Those birds are not my birds. We're just posties,
Yeah, kind of like the messengers.
Yeah, we are. We are just passing on a message. No one, raises up a career driver like he's the man. They want the parcel. They don't care about him. And I honestly, I love that. We've got an amazing talent, which is great. But I get the biggest kicks out of seeing people appreciate their story,
Yes,
on the walls, And so when we did a project in Guam, we painted their local their national bird, and it's called the cocoa bird, which is a rail, kind of like our weka.
Yep.
And at the time, I wasn't the most talented bird painting guy, but I was just like, we need to try and paint a bird mural over there. Let's do this. And it was for Festpac, and we were representing the New Zealand delegation. And it's the first time I think they had, these graffiti mural people on their delegation. So we're like, we'll be fine. Give us funding. We'll be fine. Sweet. So we started getting sponsorship, hunting down the wall, found a wall, and then we were like, watch this, man. Our approach and how we do work is going to smoke these dudes.
Yeah.
Because they just don't even know what's coming for them. So we're going to paint their national bird. We're going to do it 3 to 4 stories high. It's just so massive that they're going to just freak. This bird is extinct in the wild. It was extinct in the wild. So it didn't even exist out there. It was only existing in captivity. So we're like, nah, man, we're going to bring it out. So we painted it huge. And then everyone started realizing what we were doing. Going, whoa! And by the end, I told one of the locals, I said, oh, bro, it'd be cool if you can just get a couple of your local Chamorro people to come and do a blessing, and I'll bring some of the Māori homies who'll do a blessing. Yeah. Oh, next minute, there's like 300 to 400 people. And I'm like, I don't like this, personally, I don't like this. Yeah. No, I don't like this at all. I'm not in the middle, can you dig it? No way. Nah, man, I'm like in the background, I'm like behind Kahutu Maxwell.
You got us, Maxwell.
Oh, man. But anyways, that's when it just, really, really, really just made my heart real full.
Yeah.
When the local Indigenous groups are performing and they're telling their stories of their ancient ones and how they interacted with the bird. And then I'm like, damn. And they were just in love with it, and they were just so thankful. And they just kept on doing such a, heaps of supportive dances after. And I was just like, oh, bro, you guys, man, thank you. But it's actually for you guys. This is going to be left here for you. And thank you for your support. But I'm going to cruise because this is too much. And that's really what we do. So we have a project on at the moment called Project Paint the Pacific, where we go around all the islands painting their stories. Yeah, painting their national birds or any story that's connected to wildlife or bird life. We want to tell that story so people can be educated about their culture,
Yes.
Because even in the islands you can see colonization, or not even colonization, it's just the times that we're in and how people are just head down working, you know what I mean? And they're just existing, and the really deeper things of culture are almost getting left behind.
Yep.
It's like, oh no, man, come on. And so we go around all the islands donating our time, whatever we can, to just paint these murals. Like, come on, man, we need to support you fellas. So yeah.
Man, that's huge, bro. And the cool thing, is as an artist, when you, for example, that those paintings in Guam, when you gifted those, and what they did back, like the dancing and the karakia and all that, is, I hope people realize that means more, means more than just getting paid to do something. It's when you can do stuff that can empower not only your own people but other Indigenous people. It's just like that's game over.
That is my personal definition of success. Yeah. So when we do our workshops, I try to teach a lot of our students is to define success first. You have to not really like fully define it, but what is your motivating factor? And then I try to tell them, because in your journey of life, there'll be times when it'll, adjust, but that thing is going to lead you. But the main things you got to keep out of your definition is money and fame, because that will ruin you. Yes. It'll make you go up and right down. And I just said, man, honestly, keep fame and money out of success, and man, see what your heart will achieve.
Yeah, that's a really important message, because we live in a world where the opposite is true, bro, where the only thing you see is money and success, money and fame, and we liken that to being successful. But I think that's a good thing, bro, which leads me to this point. I've been reading this book. I feel like I'm a bit of a parrot right now, but I keep talking about this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
It's choice.
In this book, bro, he talks about paradigms and the way you see the world. But in this instance, let's talk about success. And he says, if you've got the wrong outlook on life, so if you've got the wrong idea of success, you could be doing all the right work, but it's like climbing up the right ladder, but it's on the wrong wall. You know, you're trying to scale the wrong wall. And what you're saying is pretty much getting that foundation right, eh? Like finding the right.
Yeah. And so for us, it's kind of like when it comes to painting birds, it's really to service our clients. If it's an indigenous group, conservation group, millionaires, billionaires, we still need to give them that same service. You know what I mean? And it's really to give them the utmost service, and coming in obviously with humility as well, and just going, how can we serve you? You know, like, because we're here at your service. We're not here as, you know, and then it's like, I think this is the idea. It's kind of like, oh. So when we have our clients deal with us, they just freak out on us because they think that their pages and pages of ideas is like burdensome on us, but they don't know that that's just ingredients for the guy. It's just like, bring it on, baby. Boom, because we know how to like turn that into food. You know, so just bring it over. We'll be fine. Without it, sometimes we're lost. So you know, and then you will see all your story come out, and then you will be so happy. So for us, man, it's like, come on.
That's a good one, bro. You're pretty much chefs who want to deliver the right food to the right people.
That's right, and so far it's working for us, you know, and we love it too, because we don't think about the money or the dollars. It's irrelevant now. It doesn't even come in my mind at all. It's really about servicing the people and obviously doing the high quality work.
So bro, like obviously every journey, so like where you are, it sounds like everything is going like massive and everything's awesome in a good space, and obviously every journey isn't smooth sailing. You know, we all know. Is there a point, bro, where there was some huge mistake in the past that taught you the best lesson that you needed to learn that way?
That's a deep one, because I definitely know that I'm constantly learning something. Constantly learning something. So and it's pretty hard out, you know. It's not kind of small stuff, and like I said before, a lot of it is actually between me and my wife. You know, married couples, we go through the dark times pretty hard out.
I'm sure every married couple.
And so understand. It is through them. You know, we are always learning constantly through our business dealings with clients, and should not have done that. Next time I'll do this. You know, like, I got one story. It's not really major, but it's kind of like, next time I should have did this. I was dealing with a client online. She wanted a mural just on like a wall down her driveway. I was thinking, okay, cool. And then I was just like, I'll give you a discount because I'm feeling generous. So I gave her a price, and she said, you should come over for dinner just to see the wall and stuff. And I was like, okay. And this is in Otumoto. On the hill, just over on the water there. And I was like, just come over. As soon as we went up the driveway, I was like, damn, they're rich as. Like actuals, millionaires. I was like, why did I charge that much for? Blimmin' poor Haunui. So that was dumb, man. So I'm always trying to navigate through how we should, price a job and deal with people. So it gets tricky, bro.
That's a hard thing, eh? Do you think that's a thing that just because of upbringing for like Māori and Pacific Island people, do you think it's a thing that's just is naturally hard to do?
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah, because I think Pākehās are they're wired a certain way. So they're just like, bang, this is it. It's like, any little girl? Nope. Where we just feel so much. We're always interconnecting our emotions with people. It's just like, oh man. So I feel it all the time. But when I deal with, say, proper business groups, normally it shuts off by then. But if it's smaller groups, comes out, man. It fully comes out. Yeah, no, we dealt with one group, and you know, they've got X amount of money, and I say, oh yeah, sweet as, whatever. And you know, it comes down to some local guys who are from a school or something. So, oh, damn, man, I don't even know what to say. Please just give us a budget. I don't know what to say, man.
That's what you get to. So
yes, I still don't know what to say half the time. Yeah. So yeah.
For those of you out there listening, if you're struggling to budget, just know that the bro's been doing this for years and he still struggles with it too. So you're not alone. Mm-hmm. So, bro, I like to talk, when I talk to people, I like to learn about people's pasts, just to learn about how they got to where they are now. But now let's move forward and move to the future. What are some of the things about the future that excite you, and some of the projects that you'd like to work on in the future?
Yeah, so like I said, we still got Project Paint the Pacific, and that's basically a 12-year project.
What? I wasn't expecting
12 years. Yeah, so we've already come up to our 4th year, and we've done 8 islands out of 32. 32? Yeah, or something like that. Anyway, so this year we'll do 2 islands. Yeah, 2 more islands, and then 10, and then we'll just keep doing 2 or 3 islands a year.
Chip away.
Over the 12 years. All over the Pacific. Every part of the Pacific we're going to try and reach. From Rapa Nui all the way back over to Micronesia, Saipan, somewhere really random. So that's ongoing for 8 more years. And then, and then our own mahi. Yeah, so we started last year during Matariki, creating a new style called Solarized.
Bro,
yeah.
I saw the one you first did at Street Prints at Moa.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was so deep. It feels so good, you know. It's just like, ooh.
And how you spelt it too?
Yeah. Oh, it's super deep, man. It's just like, oh, God. You know, it's super deep. Yeah, so everything's really deep about this whole process of Solarized, and the way we depict the birds and tell stories of the birds, and it's pretty deep. So we've come to this realization that we have commercial and Solarized now. So we do this other style that's commercial, pays a lot of the bills, and then this is the fun stuff. Yeah. So Solarized for us now is a fun style of painting art. We didn't have a fun style of painting art except graffiti. Yep. Which is your own downtime. Solarized is kind of like it's an unusual style. It's a spiritual style. That's kind of how I would say. It's more of a spiritual way of doing things. Anyway, but the cool thing about this style is Janine and I paint the bird together, so we can go down like a printer. Yeah. So she doesn't paint just something. We have to paint the whole thing together now because it's about this process together. Painting is one. Yeah, so that's a new development. We've done 2 murals. 2 murals, 3 paintings. So we did 3 paintings last year during Matariki in the show, and didn't put them on sale at all. I don't really like selling my artwork in galleries at the moment until I feel like I should. Yeah, I just like showing the artwork, and then. We did 2 murals, one in Tauranga, one in Palmy, and then we painted a whale's tail. And that's it so far for Solarized. Got a mural in March in Lower Hutt. We were going to do Solarized. And Man, that's awesome, brother. That's good stuff. A lot more travel still, do more international stuff, a lot more running events. Yeah. Fill up your own cup, eh? Yeah. But apart from that, it's just trying to find that balance, I guess. Because I think when you go hard on one thing, the other places are kind of being left out. So just slowly trying to get well-rounded, you know, even being a better dad. You know, 4 kids, man, come on. How can you fit them in? So trying to be a present dad, you know, and all of this stuff. So Where such as life, eh? It's full on, man, but it's worth it. Honestly, it fully is worth it. I think about yesterday when I was watching Kobe's memorial. The bro just had an amazing life. And that's the same with me. I just want to be a guy who also just went hard. Just left nothing behind, no regrets. You just went hard. So same. You just go hard, go 100%.
Yeah. Leave it all on the floor, eh?
Might as well.
Yeah, bro. So, pretty much coming down to wrapping up now. And with this podcast, bro, because I specifically called it Creative Curiosity. One, to talk about that's how you become creative in the first place, is being curious. And two, to talk about the fact that this podcast is mainly aimed at creative people. And we live in a world where it's easier to be a creator for a living, but it still isn't easy as it's still hard to make a living from being creative. And so with that in mind, with every guest that I have on, bro, I get every guest to share 3 practical tips on how to live and sustain a creative life. And I say practical too because everyone's heard the message of believe in yourself, trust yourself, all those sort of things, which are good things too. But I think having practical steps gets a lot of people that place to just start and then begin that momentum. So what are 3 practical steps you have, bro?
A tricky one, eh? Well, I think the first one would be really to master your craft. Yeah. Like, you really got to do that first. Even if it's pencil drawing, you got to really, because pencil drawing is basically free. Pencil, rubber, and paper. There's not major costs involved, but you just got to be really good. Like, especially today, 2020, you got to be outstanding. You know what I mean? Because there are so many talented people that are basically eating out of that same pie. It's like, come on, man. How are you actually standing out? How are you going to make a difference when there's that many talented dudes? So you got to be good, Like, I think about you and your situation. Your skill level's so high that, some of the other guys got to really think extra. It is the industry, but it's the same of us. When we see other guys doing really well, it's like, oh man, we've got to pick a game up too, because it's like, oh man, we're all in the part. It's the same pie, it's the same distribution of money. It's the same. That's the customer. Could pick either of us, basically. So it's just like, man, we've got to step our game up. You got to be good at what you do. So really try hard to be good, get around the right people, right communities, the right mentors, the right idols, whoever you look up to, and just try and learn, and try and be real good. 2 more, eh?
I think so.
Oh man, and that's kind of more around the success thing.
It could be about pretty much making a living from being creative.
Making a living. Well, this is I don't know. This is something anyway. I think you definitely need to try and you need to really be kind of smart too. So my mate, he had a 6-figure job.
Yep.
And he went from 6 figures to no figure to be an artist. 6 figures, no figure.
Man.
Yeah. You kind of have to have a better transition. It's like, you got to really try and figure out, there needs to be you can't just jump off. Eventually you will, but you got to, the transition, I think it's the right word, needs to be better. Like, it can't just go, it needs to be from, 6 figures down to maybe 5, then the 4, or whatever, Yeah. So I think you need to try and find that process, and the wisdom around that, because obviously when you try to become an artist, you still need to have money.
Yeah, you still pay the bills, man.
Yeah, and our industry, all of us have to pay bills. So if you got no money, you definitely ain't going to be no artist because you got no house and so on. So yeah, you got to figure out your finances and get around some smart people that have done it before too, and then they can help you in that area. And that's that third one. Ooh, that came up. Is to really try and be unique. That's what I like. That's what I really like. I really like uniqueness. So when I start seeing certain trends start appearing and they end up being really common, like, it kind of annoys me. Especially in graffiti. If in graffiti we grew up with a mindset, it's fully our mindset, that if your graffiti's the same as mine, you're a biter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah, bro.
I was like, you stole my thing.
Yeah. Don't bite.
Yeah, and you're biting me, and I can kind of see the reasoning why, because back then they were constantly inventing. Yep. You know, we didn't have a lot of things to draw from, you know what I mean? We didn't have full-on graffiti wānanga. We just were like finding things, learning from everyday life. We weren't just like, oh, let's go to school, or let's go on the internet, or let's go in a book. There was
Instagram.
There was nothing, bro. Zero. We were hunting down resource. And then eventually, if we found it and we kind of implemented it into our style, it was our style, my style. You know, I'm the man. And then if someone stole it, or even similar, it was like, bro, what the? You know, and all of us we just didn't like that concept in the graffiti world. And so I think it's still in me, but I'm not that harsh. But I just think if you want to stand out as an artist, really the concept of being unique is what you really need to achieve. And that's across everything from street art, you know, graffiti, even Māori art, you know, because I think Māori art, and you think of Māori art schools, they're almost pumping out these amazing, talented people, but it's almost like, oh, bro, you guys kind of need to, you know, switch
real
things
similar,
up, man.
similar flavor.
Yeah, because you can see that style there, you can see that style, and it's ninja styles, but you need to kind of get, bro, just do something, you know, just to freak your community out, because it will be your defining moment, and that's when you'll get your breakthrough from the rest of the clan, you know. And so I really look for uniqueness in artists, you know. So yeah, and that's kind of what, you know, even I remember your teru mahi, just how it started changing, and then everyone was like, the whole community was like, you know, and you had like everyone going, and then all of a sudden, I've seen that style, you know, for reals, all of a sudden. But, you know, it's just the concept of, you know, inventing new ideas, and then, so yeah. I think those are...
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. And I just want to touch on that being unique for people out there listening, whatever form of creativity you do, it pretty much comes down to, in order to be unique, you may be doing a style now that is cool, but it may be something that someone else created. You have to be willing to suck first at your unique style, pretty much, because you're going to, you know, whether you like it or not.
And steal other people's styles. Yeah. Just don't tell them.
This is an easy way to come up with a new style. Find different styles that you like, mash it together, and make something different that you're known for. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
All right, brother. That brings us down to the end of the podcast. Thank you for coming on. Super, super grateful to have you here.
No worries.
You know, it's pretty surreal. It hasn't sunken in yet that I'm actually doing this with you. I'll probably lie down in bed tonight and go, did that just happen?
You know, cool that you'll be thinking about me when you lie down. Oh, great.
You know, you've been on this amazing journey, bro, of learnings with other people that I look up to as well. Just let the people know where they can find you if people are curious about booking you guys for mahi. Cool. And fully paid people, by the way.
Yeah, cool. So me and my wife have a website called charlesjaninewilliams.com. And then my Instagram is Charles_Phat1 TMD. That should be enough.
Cool. And I'll link in the YouTube video, I'll link all his details below and at the end of this video as well. So thank you fellas for listening. This is Creative Curiosity. Got Charles Phat1 right here, OG triple OG. My name is Haunui Tuna. I hope you fellas enjoyed this and took some gems away. And one thing to think about, knowledge is only potential power. It only becomes power when you do something with it. So with those gems he just dropped, go do something with it and create a life for yourself. Mauri ora.
Sure.
Main brother.